The views and opinions expressed on the show are those of the hosts and guests only.
They do not represent the views, opinions, and beliefs of ProView Networks and its sponsors.
Some material on the show may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Man, I'm glad we can read, bro.
Yeah. You know, we just realized a lot of times.
Hey, that was actually take 8.
Yeah. A lot of times we know people don't read that. So we say, you know, let's read it to them.
Right.
Little bedtime story. And on that note, you are now watching the most talked about TV show in your city. I'm LB Johnson.
And this is Buck Dangerous.
And this is Shut Up and Talk TV.
I said that like I was reading it off, but I was like, where's my cue? Where is it at?
So check it out, man. We have a really amazing show today, bro.
Yes.
So one of our first shows we ever did back in August, we interviewed
the first show.
We interviewed Eric Martinez, an entrepreneur, up and coming, doing a lot, you know, in the community.
Yeah.
Since then, we've been flooded with a lot of inboxes and
questions.
Questions literally, because an article came out in the, Enchantment Sports.
Right.
Dropped the article basically questioning Eric Martinez and everything he's ever done. Saying going as far as to say, is he really a actor?
Right.
Is he really a producer? Is he really about to, open up
the production studio,
the big production studio that he talked about on our show?
Right.
So what we did is we had to get to the bottom of it. We reached out to Eric Martinez, and we're hoping soon, and at a later date, he'll actually be on the show to answer some of the questions. Mm-hmm. However, we were able to contact the author of the articles that have come out since.
Right.
His name is Mark Smith. He's a part of Enchanted Sport, or he is one of the main editors or whatever for Enchantment Sports. Creator, of Enchantment Sports. So we sat down with him and basically had to ask these questions. Where did it come from? Why are they now calling Eric Martinez a con man and saying things like that? We had to get to the bottom of it, one, because our viewers want to know, but also even for us. Because Eric Martinez did come on our show first, and he did, kind of boast and brag about everything, his accomplishments and what he was about to do in the city. We even want to ask these questions. So we sat down with Mark Smith, and what you're about to watch is what he had to say.
Right, let's see. How y'all doing? This your boy Buck Dangerous of Shut Up and Talk TV. We have a special guest for you today, Mr. Mark Smith, the foremost nationally known investigative sports reporter in the city. And we are breaking a story for you guys about the man that we had on before, actually our very first show, Eric Martinez, and he represented Dreamhouse Production. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, man.
How you doing?
You,
sir, are the man of the hour. You are the man of the hour.
Well, don't tell my family. They're trying to keep it all humble, man.
Right. So, for people who don't know, we reached out to Mark because, Eric reached out to us again, wanted us to do a little something for the New Mexico Bowl. And it was crazy because once we got the word, I ran into Mark's story that he published in his sports publication, Enchantment Sports. And I don't want to get too deep into it because I want to let Mark tell us what's really going on with Eric Martinez and this Dreamhouse production.
And we'll point out that today is October 19th.
Yes, it is. We're out here on a nice Saturday, sunny day, y'all.
It's just beautiful. It's New Mexico, man.
I know.
You California guys, you don't understand.
Hey, that means we need to hurry up because it's going to rain in 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, so the reason I point out the date is because things are changing all the time.
Right, by the minute.
I'm working on this story, and I'm not kidding, man. Literally 16 hours a day I'm putting in on this stuff.
Right.
I don't have the staff to do that. I'm a one-man band.
Right.
And I'm operating, trying to get this stuff done, and it is difficult.
Right.
I don't even want to get into some of the physical handicaps, but it's tough. So things are going to come out.
Right.
By the time this show's on, go to enchantmentsports.com.
Yes.
You're gonna see more, promise.
Right. And speaking of, let's just get into it because, like I said, Eric Martinez was on our show and he talked about a lot of great big things that were coming to not only the city of Albuquerque, but the state of New Mexico. But in that time period, we found out that he won the naming sponsorship for the New Mexico Bowl.
After you guys had him
After we had him on the show. Just to give you guys a background, he reached out. He wanted us to go out and do a live remote from the New Mexico Bowl. As soon as we get the word, I see your story on Eric Martinez, and that's where I want to pick up.
Okay.
I want to pick up, how did you hear about Eric Martinez, and what made you want to dig into the background and find out what's really going on?
Well, what happened is the New Mexico Bowl is a sponsor of my site.
Okay.
We were notified the last week of September that they were going to have a news conference on October 1st
Right.
about a new title sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to attend that the news conference. I was planning to, but was unable to for a few different reasons. So I let the public relations person, James Hallinan, Intersection Strategies, does the publicity
Right.
for the New Mexico Bowl. You've seen that name in my story.
Yes,
too,
yes,
which
I did.
has been interesting. But so I informed them that I was not going to be able to make the news conference.
Mm-hmm.
Please send me information. I wanted to just do a story about the new title sponsor.
Right, right.
It's a sports story.
Mm-hmm.
They're a sponsor. I
Right.
wanted to do them justice and do something.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I let sponsors dictate anything, as
Right.
you notice.
Right, correct,
But
correct.
I wanted to do something. So the press conference is on Tuesday, October 1st. Afterwards, I get sent the information about Dream House. Now, the interesting thing, too, is I've had all kinds of people before and after talking about, Dream Style, which is
Right.
a mega successful,
Right.
great business.
Correct.
Larry Chavez from Albuquerque, one of the biggest businesses coming out of Albuquerque you can find. And people were confusing that name.
Right.
And,
The dream part, dream style, dream house, and they were thinking it was synonymous.
and it's night and day, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So that Tuesday, October 1st, I look on the Dream House website
Right.
and I see this biography.
Mm-hmm.
This Eric Martinez is claiming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, red flags are flying up. Now, one other thing happened. The night before the news conference, the publicity emails about our news conference, they came again the day before in the afternoon, and then the email said, we'll let you know the location later tonight.
Wow. So they didn't even have a set location or even a time.
No, they did. They
Okay.
had 1:30 as the time.
Uh-huh.
No location listed.
Okay.
I've been in the business 40 years, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that.
Right.
You have a news conference set up, you don't know where it is,
Right.
and an email comes at 6:21 that night saying it's going to be at the Aperture Center out there in Mesa del Sol. 6:21. If you're in TV as an assignments editor, your shift ends at 5 or 6.
Right.
It's unheard of
To get it the
You
after
can't
hours the way you
even
did.
put that into an assignment for the next day. It's crazy. So at that point, I'm like, wow, this is bizarre.
Okay.
So continuing then on Tuesday, I'm looking into this guy's website, and now more red flags are flying.
So I want to dive into the website portion, because in your article, that's the first thing that grabbed me. When you went to the website, what was the things that you saw that made you say, okay, this isn't everything that is cracked up to
Well,
be?
at that point, I'm just curious. I have ex co-workers and friends who call me Mr. Conspiracy because I think like a journalist.
Right.
I don't take what people tell me for granted, and
Okay.
I look into it. I'm looking into this, and there's nothing specific about the Dream House itself. It says that it was to go up in spring of 2019. It hasn't gone up.
Right.
It has all these things this famous Eric Martinez supposedly did, and no one's asking questions about this. There's no specific contact
Right.
to get a hold of him. There's holes everywhere on that website. Well, then I'm looking at this stuff, and lo and behold, the next day, after the story ran in the Albuquerque Journal, basically asking about tying in Dream House and Dream Style, which was strange. I get an email from Andy Rivera, excuse me, not the actor, but a former Golden Gloves champion and a boxing writer, contributor for us. He tells me in this email all kinds of stuff.
So he's telling you all of the background
he's giving
of things
all kinds of allegations against this guy.
Okay.
So now I'm really going, okay, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist has got something to look at. I make one call. One call! That's all it takes. I call Stephen Michael Quesada. We've been buddies forever.
Let's do this, Mark. Let's go to break real quick, and when we come back, let's pick up with the phone call that you had with Stephen Michael Quesada, and then we can go a little further into this story about Eric Martinez and Dream House.
Stop living with summer heat. Get a super efficient AC systems from Sunshine Plumbing and Heating and eliminate all worry for a full 10 years. Now that's a bold guarantee. Call now and get your free system design consultation and learn more about how our bold guarantee can help eliminate your worry for a full 10 years. Comfort you can afford. Call Sunshine Plumbing today, 296-3188.
St. Clair Winery and Bistro has been renamed in honor of our founders, the Lascombe family. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro continues to deliver the same exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect since 2005. Visit us today, D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
High school sports are back. The 2018-19 season kicks off, and you could watch every ProView Network broadcast live on the NFHS Network. Every moment, from every game, from every sport, including all NMAA state championships. Get your highly discounted monthly pass now. Go to ProViewNetworks.com and sign up. Watch New Mexico's best.
Okay, Mark, we were talking about the one phone call with Stephen Michael Quesada. Please let me know, how did that go?
Well, that was the first of many, but that's the only one I needed to make to get things started. So I called Stephen, and like I said, we've been friends for a long time, 40 years. Stephen and I go back. And all the claims Eric Martinez had on his website, especially the acting, producing, film directing, singing, those are all things Stephen is into.
Right.
So I called him to see, is this guy legit? And Stephen went bonkers.
Wow.
On the record, just, he is, and I'm saying this allegedly, because this is what Stephen said, biggest scam artist he's ever met.
Wow.
And over with things.
Wow.
He gives me another connection in the business. I call that person gives me more people. I call them. It just spreads like wildfire. I have never covered a story where so many people want to go on the record.
Right.
Usually it's, don't use my name.
Yes.
And then you have to go with sources said in a lot of instances. I refuse to use sources said.
Right.
I've had people call me since saying, a few of them, hey, check into this too. Didn't come from me. I said, I ain't gonna look in that.
Right.
I've got so much stuff right now. You have to be on the record.
Right.
And almost everyone, 95% of the people I've talked to, all the ones I've interviewed are on the record.
Right.
And I've never been through a story like this.
Right. No, and so the thing that we like about you, Mark, we're from the same vein. We had Eric on our show. We gave him a platform. A lot of people saw that. There may have been questions, but now when we have people like you that's actually getting down to the bottom of things, investigating, asking the tough questions, finding out the answers aren't true, that's the thing that we want to bring to the forefront, and that's why we reached out to you. We wanted to give the other side of the story, and I do want to let everybody know we have reached out to Eric Martinez to give him a chance to actually rebuttal these things and say, hey, this is what we have, what do you have to say about yourself? And kind of like the response that you got, the website's been shut down, and
his website.
The website has been shut down. So,
well, and technically it's not his whole website. It's all the biographies on his page.
Right.
They've all been deleted, so there's not a single name of anyone affiliated with this thing. And you guys can speculate about that.
Right.
But yeah, and again, all of the stuff is alleged as far as
Right.
I am writing. These are all allegations. I have given Martinez repeated chances.
Right.
I've reached out repeatedly to him, and eventually I'm going to release all the questions that I've asked of him. You know what, Robert, we haven't even scratched the surface on this stuff yet.
Right.
As of today, October 19th, we haven't scratched the surface of this thing.
So
There's
I want to ask you a question about not scratching the surface. Do you think this is something that when we do get past the surface that it might be a little too deep? Because, I was reading your article, and in this web we have the governor, we have other people that are involved that are actually big in the community. So is that something that you are kind of prepared for, or?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say the governor's involved, but, the name of the person who was listed as the general manager before they deleted the biographies is a guy named Ian Stewart, who I've asked about, and a number of people in the industry say he's a good guy, does a good job, he's on the up and up, but he's known Eric for a long time and has worked with him many times.
Right.
He's listed as the GM. He's the son-in-law of the governor.
Oh,
knowing
wow.
how the governor supports the film industry,
Yes.
I reached out to the governor's office and got comments that you saw about Ian Stewart. They've also gone into silence now since I've pointed that. I gave Ian Stewart some questions about his relationship, and he's refused to answer too.
Wow. Well, this is what we're gonna do. Y'all know it's two of us on Shut Up and Talk, so I'm not gonna take all of the fame for the questions. Let's get LB Johnson in, and let's see the questions that he has for you as well, Mark. Hey, this is a great show. Like I said, we wanted to get you firsthand. We didn't want to get it from anyone else. We wanted to get the person who's actually, like you said, doing all the work, how you found out, and where do you see it going from there.
I got you. Is he gonna grill me?
Oh yeah, I'm way easier than LB.
I'm on the up and up, man. So you ask me anything, I'll either not answer or I'll tell you the truth.
Hey,
ain't gonna be no lies.
Hey, we coming back. Y'all stay tuned to Shut Up and Talk TV.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
I had to dive in here. This story, as you know, has blown me and Buck away. Like just hearing, of course, the original thing. We're excited to have Eric Martinez on the show. We're excited to hear what he was doing. We're excited to hear about Dream House. And then your article comes out, and at first it was almost a slap in the face because it was like, okay, hold on, did we get this wrong? Because I'll be honest, I didn't Google Dream House. I didn't Google anything. I didn't look up anything that he told us about. I believed what he said, and I want to be very clear. We don't know. As of now, all we're going off is what Eric Martinez has told us, and now what you're shedding light on. So, and like Buck said earlier, we did reach out to Eric Martinez. We are hoping that he's willing to come on the show and tell his side of things. But until then, we had to get some answers, and that's why we had to dive in. For me, let's take it back just a little bit. Do you know Eric Martinez personally?
No, I've In fact, I never even heard the name in my life. And I'm born and raised out here and connected with a lot of people. And like I said, just one call to Stephen Michael Quesada. But I'd never heard of the guy.
Because I wanted to clear that up. I know for some people, especially even on social media, first thing they think is, oh, just another hater, hating him because he's doing something good in the community. So I wanted to clear that up, that this is not a personal vendetta, or you don't know him to not like him. So
No. And in fact, Andy Rivera, the boxing contributor, who has known him for a long time, I didn't even know that until Andy sent an email that the guy has allegedly scammed young boxers in the past. And remember, the Albuquerque Journal had this story sitting right under its nose because it did a story on the guy in 1996 as an alleged scam artist in boxing. Well, when Andy got a hold of me about this, I was getting information from him, but he is not part of Enchantment Sports. He's a contributor, and I've made it clear that if he has feelings about the guy, that's not part of me.
Yeah.
I'm doing my own investigation. I'll use Andy as a source. He's not a representative of Enchantment Sports.
Gotcha.
So.
One of the things that I recognized right away when I was reading your article was you mentioned, of course, like you said, the scam, you scamming the little kids. But I remember you mentioned Power Moves, and I believe it was Power Moves Entertainment, which is one of his, I believe his music company or something. The only reason I remember is because I remember they had a big bus, and on the side of the bus it said Power Moves, and I actually knew one of the artists that was, I don't know if Eric was managing him or if he was signed to Power Moves or what, but I know he was a part of it. And I did reach out to that artist, of course, after reading your article. And what the artist did tell me, he said he didn't want his name mentioned, but he did say that he was scammed out of money. He said he still owed a lot of money. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars. And he did say that he wanted to be very clear that he has forgiven Eric for that now, because he's on a different path. He's actually, a minister now. But he wanted to be very clear that I asked him, how was your experience with Eric Martinez? Only question I asked him, and he literally said a lot of bad, not a lot of good. That was his answer. So that made me, and I've known this guy a lot of years, so that really made me even dive in. I literally read your article again after talking to him.
Now you're talking about the first article.
Yeah, the first one, yes.
Because I've had a series, and by the time this comes out, there's going to be at least one more, hopefully two, and it's going to continue. But I'm interested by you saying about the bus.
Yeah.
Because by the time this comes out, you're going to see a big rig, an 18-wheel rig that has Dream House on it, that is allegedly has been photoshopped by Eric to show he has this big rig that doesn't exist. Allegedly.
Well, the first thing is, you live in Albuquerque, I live in Albuquerque. I think we'd see it. And this is where, I can't stress this enough. Eric Martinez, I know you're going to watch this. Holler at us, bro. Because if we're missing something, you need to come clear it up. Because right now it's looking real bad for Eric Martinez. And this, even for us, mind you, as journalists, and I say that loosely because we have fun on our show, but you being an established award-winning journalist, for you to see this and make that one phone call, and I got to be honest, for it to be Stephen Michael Quesada, somebody that I've interviewed on my other radio show several times, good friend, even went to one of his recording of his stand-up specials, him, Marco Nunez of James Douglas Show, Eddie Go, all good dudes in this community that I've known for years.
Nadas.
Exactly. All of them, and they all basically echo the same thing you're saying. The article saying this dude's a scam artist. And that's where it got scared for us. On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, man, we're not done, y'all. We're still diving in.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all, or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Local Union 412. Find a career with benefits, not just a job, at UA Local 412 Training Center. We are looking for plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC tech apprentices and journeymen. Call 505-256-9257. Local Union 412.
Okay, so we're talking about Eric Martinez and his Dream House Productions or whatever. I'm not exactly sure the full name. And then it kind of baffles me because you have Dream Style, as you said, a great organization, huge, in the city, and they're actually, I do believe they own the pit, right?
Well, they have the naming rights.
There you go, the name rights for the pit.
Pit's called Dream Style Arena, a.k.a. the Pit. University Football Stadium is called Dream Style Stadium.
There you go, and this is actually where the New Mexico Bowl is supposed to be played, right?
It is going to be played it's been played at that stadium for 13 years. It's been named Dream Style Stadium for the last, I believe, 2 years.
Yeah. So my first question, and this is me just thinking, is there a coincidence between Dream House and Dream Style? Do we think that maybe that name was kind of thought of because of the connection or the possible links?
I don't want to go there because I don't know. I do know that in the news conference and in the Albuquerque Journal story about it, they asked that question, and Executive Director Jeff Simbietti, Executive Director of the Mexico Bowl, said, purely coincidence. It's a bowl of your dreams, I think was his quote, and said it with a grin, according to the story in the paper. So are they is Dream House trying to play off of the success of Dream Style? I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that.
The first thing that comes to mind for me, you mentioned this a little earlier, is like you said, they were supposed to start construction on this huge state-of-the-art conference and studios, and all these things were going to be in this huge building, and you said in the spring.
According to the website, it said spring of 2019.
Exactly. As of now, to date, that you know of, have they started building anything?
No groundbreaking.
There you go, no groundbreaking.
I've had Martinez himself, and this needs to be pointed out. I did a background interview with him on Saturday, October 5th, just to get some background. He didn't have time to get into any real interview, but he contacted me to tell me that the architects were currently in there looking at it in the building, the Aperture Center, but groundbreaking wouldn't be until next month. First he said later this month, then he said next month. There has been no groundbreaking. I don't know if there actually are architects looking at it now or not.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is when as a businessman, anybody, you're coming to the New Mexico Bowl, the organizers and the presidents of the New Mexico Bowl, you're saying, I want to be the naming rights, I want to be over, the next year, instead of it, I think it was what was it last year?
Gildan for the last 7
instead
years.
of Gildan, we want to do it. So my thought is, for me, I would look at it and say, okay, well, who are you? What do you do? What do you have? Now, we know from the website what they state is going to be with Dream House, but there's no building, there's nothing to say this is what Dream House has done. So, and this is pure speculation, I'm asking you, why do you think they decided to go with Eric Martinez and Dream House?
Well, that's a great question. That's one that I'm trying to get answered that no one will answer. You saw how angry James Hallinan, how snippy, I guess, the PR guy was when, he advertises that as his PR site will, quote, protect your brand. And I asked him flat out, did you protect the brand? I asked email, and he got defensive is the best way. And, in my you what he said. He was trying to play the politically correct card against me, which I couldn't believe came out of left field crazy. Like, you can't answer a question about that. Yeah. And so he's now in hiding. I've been cut off by him, which I've never heard a PR guy telling a reporter he's not going to respond to him anymore. The whole thing's been pretty bizarre.
He blocked you, man. It's like social media. You got blocked.
Too much social media in this world has killed journalism, my man.
So, look, in closing, the last question I got to ask you, and I know it's on everybody's mind, including ours, is why? Why do this article? Why bring this to the forefront? Even if, and I say this because once your article came out, now your second one, or the part 2, or in the series or whatever, so many people jumped on, so many posts, including ours, with stories and happy. Finally, somebody's putting this, scam artist and showing what he's been doing. So many people came forward saying that, but nobody before you actually was willing to go to task with him and really, put the money where the mouth and say, hey, what are you doing? And call him by name as a scam artist. So why you? Why are you willing to do this now?
It's my life that I have been a journalist for 4 decades. I can't get into all the reasons I got out of mainstream legally. I can't. I just feel somebody has to do ethical journalism and expose things. I want to write the truth. Like I said, I started to just do some happy little story about this new sponsor, and it led to all this. LB, I don't get paid for what I'm doing. I don't make money. I don't want to sound like woe is me, but I'm a one-man band, brother, and I've got glaucoma and almost legally blind in my right eye. Wow. Staring at the computer is brutal
to get the story out.
Yet I am just going with it because I have to get out the truth. And one of my mottos that I tell people is I would much rather write the truth for free than write a lie and get paid. Wow. That's flat out it. And so I am going to keep going. I don't let anyone influence what I can and can't do. I won't let sponsors. I won't let managing above editors. I won't let threats. I just won't, man. I've dealt with some. I covered Lobo basketball for 15 years at the paper. I've dealt with guys like Steve Alford, Dave Bliss, Fran Fraschilla. These are guys that are a little tough to get the truth out of sometimes, and have a lot of support from fans. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I'm going to try to ask the questions that need to be asked.
As you should. Let everybody know if they haven't checked out your story yet, or any of the articles in the series. Let them know how they can get more information on you. If they have questions, how they can check out the story, the full story on Enchantment Sports.
Well, our website's enchantmentsports.com. I have my bio on there. We have some guys that do some contributing for us. Greg Archuleta used to work with me at the Journal. He was a football beat writer for 12 years with Lobos. He's covering the Lobo football team for us. I still do things on basketball. It has all our bios, all the information. Everything is on the up and up. I don't want to get into all the accolades and awards I've had over the years. Some of the stuff's listed there. You can find me listed on a lot of stuff on the internet. Do a search, you'll find it. I'm not this moral compass or anything. I've done some stuff that I wish I hadn't done.
Well, if they watch our show, they ain't worried about moral compass, so don't worry about that.
But I'm just, my job as a journalist is finding the truth. Hey, man, you know what? I told people flat out, I'm glad that I have never had to investigate myself. But that has nothing to do with investigating something else. And this guy is out there as a big name in the computer. This is a national event, man.
It is.
But, like I said, I'm not making a dime. I haven't even gotten sponsors to support this. We do have a donations page. I don't want to say I'm like, oh, here's why I'm doing it. But if anyone wants to donate to a worthy media source that does it for the truth. We are in the grass, literally, and grassroots, as it's called. We'd love to get something, because my wife and 9-year-old son aren't happy with all the time I'm putting into this.
There you go, man. Hey, you heard it here first, man. This has been a Shut Up and Talk exclusive. I appreciate you coming out.
You got it, man.
We're just getting started, man. Y'all know what it is. Shut up and talk. We do what we do best. Hey, we'll be back after this break.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green
and keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with ProView Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by the Halloween Fantasy Ball, going down this Saturday at the Albuquerque Convention Center. For more information or to get your tickets, make sure you go to holdmyticket.com, code word Fantasy Ball.
Man, Mark Smith had a whole mouthful to say, did he not?
I got to be honest, it was mind-blowing to hear, everything he said, but then it just leaves even more questions, man.
Right.
And that's why I even said in the interview, and we'll continue to say, for you guys that just tuned in or that watched that interview, all the questions we asked are the questions that people asked us.
Right.
That we got in our inbox, all that people hopped on the page and asked us. And so that's why we're asking Mark Smith. And we look forward to the opportunity to ask Eric Martinez and get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, we don't want to speculate. We don't want to jump to conclusions or anything like that. We do want to get to the bottom of it because, like I said, our very first show was with Eric Martinez. And then since then, as you could tell, he actually garnered the naming rights to the New Mexico Bowl. So that's big. That's big.
And from what Mark Smith said, even as you seen in the interview, the biggest thing was that was his issue. I at first thought maybe Mark Smith was some hater from back in the day.
Right.
Didn't like him. He said he never met him. He didn't know him. But when he seen that he got the naming rights, he said he just did a Google search just to see who this was and how he was able to get it. Right. And that's where his questions begin to come from. One thing I will say is, because I do know some of the people in the industry that Mark mentioned, and I do hold them in a high, regard, that's why we do want to talk to Eric Martinez. We do want to get answers to these questions. We have put our hand out in an invitation, if you will, for Eric Martinez to come on the show, and we are hoping at a future date he will be on the show to answer all the questions.
We don't want to speak for anybody, and that's why we did have Mark tell his side of the story.
Exactly.
And, now we want Eric to be able to come back and do a rebuttal and set the record straight. Let's see.
I do want to say this for everybody, just to make sure everybody understands. All this is allegedly. We do not know what happened. We do not know what is true and what isn't true. That's why we're asking these questions. But until we get the right answers, everything's allegedly. As far as we know, Eric Martinez is still a huge actor in New Mexico. He is still building this huge post-production studio, state-of-the-art studio, and we're looking forward to being a part of it until we find out he's not.
There we go. You said enough.
On
Don't
that
need to say any more.
Ill Style, take us home.
Don't front, I got you open, it's the original, heads me in the original crooks. Don't front, I got you open, it's the original, heads me in the original crooks. Don't front, I got you open, check the in the morning, hopped on the train, I saw my man, he had it. In the morning, hopped on the train, I saw my man, he had it. In the morning, hopped on the train, I saw my man, he had it. He had it in his hand, hide it from the in his hand, hide it from